Welcome to a new episode of the podcast Way Out of Childhood Trauma. Today is here with me Elsa Antheia, a therapist from Iceland, living in Sweden and currently in Greece. So she is very international, and she is the fellow RTT therapist, but she has very interesting story of recovery from childhood trauma. It's why I invite her over to share her story with our listeners and tips what were those moments of the recovery and how everybody can start this journey of recovery, because it is why we doing this podcast. So welcome, Elsa. Can you introduce yourself to our listeners?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here and welcoming me so nicely. Yeah, my name is Elsa Antheia and I'm a graduate RTT therapist just like you. So I'm just excited to be here. Thank you.
You're welcome. So what's brought you to becoming therapist?
I've always been helping people in some way, and I've always been interested in why we are the way we are. Starting with myself, starting to look within myself at 21 years old. I was dragged into organization called Al-Anon because a friend knew I was broken and helped me. And from there, I started to build myself up. And I've just had this quality within me to help others. And I just have felt a lot of pain in my life, especially from childhood and go up. And what I is if I can put a smile on someone's face, I do that and guide people towards getting released from the pain. I do that. I've always done that, and I'm actually pretty good at it. So, and finding Marissa Peer and RTT was just sent from the universe to do this work in a proper way.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. So when you wasn't in recovery, and when you suffer, what was the main symptoms? What was the things which really troubled you in your life?
I would say lack of just happiness, lack of listening to myself, actually. And the more I can look back, I can see that I'm not listening to my intuition. It's like I'm ignoring those red flags and I was thinking, this will get better. But the thing is, we need to understand it's not okay now, and I've been that for a little while. It doesn't have to be a long time. It most times will not get better. So we need to face the issue right away instead of just hoping that things will just fix itself, because they won't. We need to fix them.
So what was the kind of like tipping point for you when it started going instead of down the up? What was the most powerful thing when you feel that it started really turning?
I have had so many ups and downs. I have crashed so many times I can't even count them. So it's just, I needed to fall that many times. I wouldn't wish that for anyone, but that's a part of the lesson as well. But falling down is being in a marriage where, actually two marriages, where I was really not being valued, and just really ignoring those red flags. And I was not being true to myself and feeling that in my core something was not okay. And then because I didn't listen to my intuition and feeling that great pain within me, it's like, am I going to be stuck there or am I going to do something about it? And the time of going forward can take time, but when you're just looking for answers, you're going forward. It doesn't matter if you feel like you're still there, you're not, because you're looking for answers, you're looking for something to help you. You might feel like you're always going to close doors everywhere you go, but that's also a part of the process. If there's a closed door, you know that you're not supposed to go that door, so find another door. That's the thing. Sometimes people give up because the door is closed. Oh, there's another door closed. Yeah, okay, because that's not the door you're supposed to go in. Just look at it that way. It's very easy. Okay, we'll seek forward. Sometimes it gets hard to look for another door. I have many times just wanted to die, just literally wanted to die, because I was feeling like there was no hope. There was like, why am I even bothering living this life? Too many times. But there was something within me that knew that I was supposed to be here and I was supposed to live this life. I mean, we're here to live this life and enjoy it. I've always believed that there is happiness for everyone, and the happiness comes from within. And most of the things that I realized is that I was lacking self-love, and I didn't realize that until just really recently, just a few months ago, through RTT hypnotherapy sessions, that I was not receiving love as a child, and that's why I didn't love myself. All these years, I was always trying to find a problem, but the problem was I didn't love myself as much as I gave love to everyone else. Very kind, big-hearted woman, and I just didn't put those eyes into me. You know, I respected myself. There's a different thing, totally different thing than loving yourself and respecting yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
So realizing that loving yourself is how you talk to yourself, how you are treating yourself. Are you giving yourself time, or you put, yeah, so the process is just standing up. It doesn't matter what actually it is. It's been so many times for me to stand up or falling down, but just keep moving. Find the door that's open for you. Yeah.
Oh, that's great advice, and it's absolutely true. When we are not connected with our self-love, when we not loving ourselves, it's everything else struggle, is it? Because people would say, I'm not going to the gym, I'm not exercising, I'm not eating well. Yeah, because if we're not loving ourselves, we don't care about ourselves, and it's showing on all life, on work, on a relationship, everything, is it? So what do you think that people can do to start loving themselves if they really feel that they, as children, didn't get it? So how to learn it?
Yeah. Learning to love yourself when you're not receiving it as a child is just, it's the hardest thing. You seek love around you. That's what I was doing all the time. I was trying to seek love and getting love from other people because I was not receiving that in the way I needed as a child. So trying to get that from spouse and another spouse and another spouse, always in the spouse, and not necessarily friends, maybe at some point, but it's like you're trying to feed something that is not there, and because you're supposed to be just feeding your self-love. And the most important part is to, when you were speaking about that, when you're not eating enough healthy or not going to the gym or these things, is like, if you're having some of these issues, that's because something is needs healing within you. There's nothing like, people are always blaming themselves. They want to start a diet, to do something, and it just only works for a little while, and then everything goes badly, and then you're blaming yourself and starting talking badly about yourself. That's just a sign that you need some healing. There's nothing wrong with you. There's just something that has happened to you that needs healing. So that, like, now talking about this really keeps me feeling pain towards people that are blaming themselves for something that there's nothing that there's wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just a program in our mind that has something at some point infected you, and that way it needs to be reprogrammed. That's why RTT is so efficient and such a fast pace. I wouldn't believe how fast I could recover like this, as I was broken when I came to you for help, how broken I was. And now, I don't know, what, 6-7 months later, I am like a total different person. I can look in the mirror and say, I love you. I can wink myself like, hey, you look good today. And even though, I mean, still after gaining weight for my now time period when I was very, very low, I look at these weight, my cute little belly, different way than I did before. I was not blaming myself and just saying like, okay, you had a rough patch. We're just gonna go through this together. We're now in a better place and we're going forward day by day. You know, everything takes time, and healing especially takes time, and we need to be patient with ourselves.
Yeah, but I think that's amazing story, and kind of confirming that people actually can recover, and in quite short time, even if it's a half year, 6-7 months. You know, I know your life changed really significantly during that time, and I think that is really that message of hope for people who going for years to some talk therapies or are on medication, and kind of accepted that they are miserable, and they just try and kind of live with that's not even necessary, is it? That's it can be really changed.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned it, because I have been looking into myself since I was 21, finding solutions, understanding, looking within, trying to fix those things that were wrong with it. I got a lot of good things out of it. But the thing is, I was stuck. It wasn't until RTT came that I really could loosen up those bad blueprints that my brain had, and those understanding of seeing things in a different angle, because through RTT going into hypnosis it's such a different view on what's the problem and what was causing the problem. Not only that, it's only just talking about the issue is not going to solve the issue. You can get some guidance, but it's just a total different thing. It's taking that magic pill, you know? It's just like going through magic. You're going into the pain for a short time, but then you're gonna be like at the end of the tunnel. It is an eye-opening. It's freeing. I am actually, I don't get enough of RTT sessions, because every time I get a session, I feel so liberated and free afterwards. It's just then the feeling of this relaxation and getting connected with myself. It's a wonderful feeling in so many ways. I will never ever stop receiving these sessions, because I know I'm always a work in progress, you know, in every day. There's some challenges I haven't gone through in my life. I mean, I'm 42 years old. I have many years ahead of me. No one is saying that I've gone through all my worst things, or so this is just a bad thing. And I mean, talking about it with friends and the therapist is always something good, but if you want to really dig into your stuff and really get recovered, it's that work. Yeah.
So what, now you working as a therapist, what clients you working with? What is your kind of what?
I'm specializing in sexual issues, and that's what I'm focusing on. And just why I'm doing that is because I believe that it's also a part of deeply who we are as a person, our needs, our desires, and through the porn and the physical looks and how you are supposed to look and behave and it's getting us further from our core. And a lot of people have issues, both just it doesn't matter what it is in sexual issues. I will work on those, but mostly is to be who you are inside of the bedroom or wherever you want to have those fun times. It's all about you being connected with who you are. So that's what my focus is. But take clients with any problems, of course, but that's my focus, because I believe that if we are connected with our core in the sexual way, we get our confidence, we get our like everything that is also needed in other areas at work or wherever. If we have that in the bedroom, I think we're good.
So you working with a man, woman, both?
Yeah, everything. People also, there are figuring out their sexuality, people even thinking if they are trans or just whatever, someone who doesn't able to get an orgasm, or someone who has a porn addiction, or just everything about like the sexual urges. Actually, just it doesn't matter what it is. It's just for me very important to be connected with those parts. and those who are figuring out if they're gay or lesbian, or doesn't matter. The sexual part is just so important to be connected with. Yeah.
Did you see when you're working with your clients any connection with this issue and their childhoods?
Yes, many ways. And the interesting part is every client is unique, but there is a connection always. It is always coming from the childhood at some point. It's the messages we receive as when we are young children, we don't understand those messages properly because our brain is not fully evolved, and so we're reading it differently. And also just it's like reading a simple book and the text is wrong. That's actually what's happening. We're reading a wrong text, and that's what we learn, and that's what we take with us to the adulthood. That's what's happening to everyone, actually. All of us do that at some point, at some level. That's what we're reading. So we're learning that book wrongly, the wrong text. It's like we had dyslexia or something. We're reading things wrong. So yes, it's all the cases that I've handled so far have all connections to the childhood. All of them. Yeah.
This is really interesting how childhood affecting us so much in adulthood, even when we don't realizing it. Is it like we although speaking on our podcast about childhood trauma, that's why it's calling Way Out of Childhood Trauma, and it's manifesting in so many different ways. Is it like how we are affected with what we are told, what we are behaved, how we emotions we get in as children, if it's the suppressed curiosity about something, or not feel love for who we are, or as we are, is it how it's demonstrating in people's in a different way. So
it is actually scary that is the case, because the children are so sensitive. We don't give them credit for how sensitive they are, and also not how smart they are. People always just put them down that, she won't understand this, or thinking that the child won't read the room. Of course the child reads the room. They are so sensitive, and they know so much more than you think. And if they don't know the truth, they read the room wrong, and then they take that knowledge with them, because a lot of parents don't want to share something with their children. And what does that cost? They make up the story in their mind, and that story is never correct. So it's very important to understand how sensitive they are and how intelligent they are. So for me today, I look at the children so differently after learning RTT, so differently. I take more time to smile to them, talk to them, go down on my knees, look them in the eyes, and just it's totally different, because today I see how important those individuals are, and they get what they need.
Yeah. So if it will be one really message you would want to people remember and take on, what it would be?
Listen to yourself and your intuition. When you in anything, it can be, I have had it, like for me, I was putting something away and my intuition said, don't put it there. There was a reason why I said, like, don't put it there, because that might have fallen down or something like that. And those red flags are intuition. Like, if it's some sneaky voice comes up in your mind and you ignore it, it's going to have consequences. So always listen to that and follow your heart and live from your heart, love from your heart. Everything comes from the heart, and never settle for anything less than what you deserve and what you want. That's like, no, ever. Today I'm like, I always push people to go after what they want. That's why also what I want to work with the sexual issue also so important, to go for what you want. We all have different needs and desires, but you have to be really connected with yourself. So listen to yourself. This is my message. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Elsa. That was so interesting, and it's really interesting the area you work, clients you work with. So where your clients can find you, how they can contact
I
you.
am, yeah, I am on LinkedIn, Elsa Antheia Gunnarsdottir, but also I am Better Connections Within on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, and I also have a website, BC Within. So it's just short for Better Connections Within because it's a long name. So that's what I'm striving for with my clients, to get better connections within.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you have any issues which you would want to discuss with Elsa, you can contact her on Instagram, on Facebook as Better Connection Within, or you can find her as the Elsa Antheia or bcwithin.com, and I will put the links to the description. And I'm very thankful that you came on our podcast, because it was really interesting to story and what you're working in. So if you have any questions for me or Elsa, you can leave the comments and we will be happy to answer. And I will want to invite you for next week for our next episode of Way Out of the Childhood Trauma, when we will speak with Lela about a very hard topic, and it's about trauma of children, because I don't know if you heard, but in Serbia was now 3 shooting in the schools, and the young child, 13 years old boy, shooted 14 children, and so that is big trauma. But it's not happening just there; it's happening also in the US. And anyway, so we will speak about the topic, how can be helped to the children and also parents which coming through this traumatizing events in their life, what can be first aid in mental health, and how they can be helped long term. So tune to us for next episode of Way Out of Childhood Trauma. Well, thank you for listening. Subscribe and follow, please, so you will not miss our next episode. And thank you very much, Elsa, one more time for coming on our podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
And see you everybody next time. Bye.